times. Um, but that's not the worst thing because it tells me that we're
Yeah.
sharing. So, all right, folks. I'm really excited to hear what you discussed. So, we actually ended up with six breakout rooms as opposed to the 11. Hopefully, people remember which room they landed in. And I didn't get a chance to ask everyone to do that, but if not, we'll figure it out. I'm going to start with room three. Might you share, whoever the spokesperson was for room three, might you share one of the challenges that came up in your discussion, please? I know we have someone.
Yeah, I'll share. Our room, unfortunately, near the end, we got some new people to join, so we didn't have as much of a robust conversation as other groups might have. But hopefully, in the next breakout, we can. One thing that jumped out with myself and my other fellow Rotarian in our group is fundraising. That is, or funds, lack thereof, is something that our group has had challenges with, and we continue to have challenges with that, and we're open to just kind of ideas
Got it.
that folks may have. So yeah,
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to actually capture all the feedback and then I'll pop it over into the chat once we're done chatting, okay? Group, I think the other room we had was room five. Room five. Any takers to share what you uncovered as one of the challenges?
Hi. So,
Hey,
one of the,
Penny.
it's Penny from Pickering. So, one of the challenges I think we all agreed on was having membership participation. Sometimes it's the core group that's always volunteering, and so that's one of the issues that's I think we've all shared, and even for like if we have bingo, it's just a certain people that are volunteering all the time. So
Yeah.
that's one of our issues.
Membership participation. That's I hear that a lot for sure. Thank you. All right, room eight. What comes to mind as you thought about challenges?
Yeah,
What's
a
one of the
whole bunch of
challenges?
stuff. We actually weren't able to hear from everyone, but we saw some heads nodding, and we got at least one bingo on leadership succession. That coming over the horizon, leadership succession was a concern to at least two of us. Me too, because I had not identified a third. I'm like, oh yeah. So
Yeah, that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
I will always say that I worry when someone says succession, not because it's not a challenge, but because I have the toughest time spelling it in the chat. So thank God for spell check. All right. Thank you very much. I think that was room eight, right? Or nine?
Yes,
eight.
Eight.
roommate.
All right. Nine. Who's your spokesperson? Room nine. Any eager beavers from room nine that want to speak up?
Yeah,
Great.
we
Thanks, Chris.
we didn't really establish a spokesperson, but I'm happy to do that. It was so there were three of our clubs. All of are in the neighborhood of 40 to 45 members,
Mhm.
and it was really a challenge for engagement as it relates to specifically more senior Rotarians who
Mhm.
I think the feeling was that they had sort of paid their dues and were less engaged in activities. So it was the challenge of how to get them engaged. I guess that might fit into the discussion regarding
Yeah.
leadership succession planning. Sorry to make you spell
It's
that again, but
okay. Yeah,
so
it's
that
all very connected.
that was a reported challenge.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing. Room 10. What do we hear?
We talked a lot about xylophones.
As a
Kidding.
challenge in playing
No,
them
no,
or
no, you spelling them in the chat. So actually, I'm just kidding. Yeah, a lot of it is similar. I just pour one more spin on succession planning because it came up a couple times for us, and it's not just the getting the newer members to take on some of those leadership roles and drive things forward, drive projects forward, but also to get some people in some clubs to relinquish what they do and to pass along what they do.
Huh.
and guarantee succession planning with the organization or with the club.
That's a neat one. In all my time of doing this, I haven't had it quite pointed out that way, but it sounds like, passing things off, sharing responsibilities, getting other people to get involved, right? Allowing them to get involved. Sounds like it came up in your group. All
Well,
right.
I can say
Yeah.
that if you have sort of one strong voice and they continue with that chunk of knowledge, they
Yeah,
continue to drive the direction forward, whichever way it goes. So yeah,
got it.
thanks. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. And I think we've got one last room in room 11.
Number 11, I was the one looking like I was taking notes. So I was voluntold to do this in a true Rotary sense. And one of the things, we had a few really good observations come from our group. Our clubs ranged from 75 to 176.
Mm-hmm.
So we got good feedback on a couple of topics. One being established members wanting not to change things. That was one of the that came from a couple of different clubs, and as an example, one club wanted to change their meeting times. They actually had to send out a questionnaire to members to get them to agree to it because there was no reason to change.
Mm-hmm.
But when they did the questionnaire, they found that all of a sudden people were willing to participate at a different time and show up in larger numbers. In fact, it doubled their numbers of participation. So that was kind of an interesting thing, and I think people who hold lunch meetings sometimes find that.
Yeah.
We also found that there were issues with respect to volunteering. Some people found challenges with getting people to volunteer, and
Sorry, from
others
within the club or outside of the club?
both actually. There was an observation that some other charities allow people to volunteer without any cost associated with
Mm-hmm.
it, and that was one observation that came up. Well, we can volunteer for other things, and it
Yeah.
doesn't cost us any money to do that,
Huh.
which is an interesting perspective because we all talked about the fact that cost of Rotary for new and younger members in particular was a bit of a concern.
Mm. Excellent. I really appreciate all of these topics coming up. Bonus points or a bonus speaking opportunity is going to go to room 5. Was there anything else, room 5 spokesperson, that you like are dying to share?
So I was thinking, I made a suggestion that some of the ways that we can get people engaged, like the members engaged, is to have like a membership spotlight. You know how you have employee of the month.
Yep.
Maybe if the clubs will hold something like that to engage a little bit more participation,
So
that
Penny,
might help. Like,
before you
pardon?
go on, can you tell me the problem or the challenge that your team talked about as that solution came
Oh,
about?
the problem is getting members as engaged.
Got it. Okay.
Right? You have just a core group that's always doing the same kind of volunteering.
Got it. Perfect.
And so maybe having a membership recognition spotlight might
That
be
might be a
helping.
way.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it. All right, good stuff. All right, well, I really appreciate everyone's thoughts and ideas. I have captured them in the chat, and so we're going to move on. And the next thing is I'm going to share my screen again as soon as I can figure out how to do that. Bear with me. This is the joy of doing this virtually, and I love being in a room. Makes it a lot easier. All right. You are, let's try that one. You're probably saying the wrong thing, but that's okay.
It's coming.
That's coming. Yeah, it's probably going to be the wrong
Got,
thing.
we got your breakout rooms.
Okay. All right. Still good? Can you guys see a
Yep.
whole slide?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. All right. So here's what I want you to think about. All right. And I'm going to ask select people to answer this question at random. What I'd like you to think about is, why did you join Rotary? And then I'd like you to think about, why do you still belong to Rotary now? Okay. What I really want you to focus on and what I want to hear back on is why is there a difference, right? What changed? What happened in between there, between you joining and you staying? What's the difference? All right. I'm going to give you a minute or two to think about this, and then I'm going to randomly select people. When I do select you, please don't tell me how your boss invited you to Rotary and he told you you could have a good lunch. I'm not looking for your story per se. I'm looking for an understanding of why there's the difference or what changed between why you joined and why you belong to Rotary now. Okay? All right. Give it a think. Feel free to take notes. We're going to stay in this room. We're not going into breakout rooms for this one, okay? Okay. All right. I can tell that Catherine is dying to tell us the answer to this question, her own answer. Catherine from Quinty Sunrise. Catherine, between why you joined and why you belong to Rotary now, why is there a difference?
I think it just got to know the other members and just enjoy the different causes that we always kind of support.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you. Pauline.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's the difference for you? What made the difference between why you joined and why you stayed?
The difference was I was not aware of how extensive the work was, and I was not aware of how many countries were involved. I was also overwhelmed, and pleasantly so, by how much of an impact Rotary makes in the world. And that's why I'm still here.
That's beautiful. Excellent. All right. Mike Miller from Whitby Sunrise. Tell me what's keeping you around.
So what keeps me around is the reason I joined Rotary in the first place. It was an opportunity to give back to the community. It was an opportunity to give back to the globe. And my first project was in South Africa. And I was traveling a lot. And the reason I'm still there today is because it's created many, many opportunities for me to give back and to feel good about it.
Fantastic. Excellent. All right. And Murray McBain. Murray, what's going on for you?
Well, I think the reason I joined was I had a Rotarian hound me for a year and a half. But all kidding aside, it was definitely similar to Mike, a chance to give back. I wanted to make sure I had the time so I could actually be engaged and not be distracted by a lot of other things I'm involved in. So the thing I found why I'm still here is it's making a difference. I can see that locally and globally. And certainly the relationships with other members, very enriching.
That's fantastic. Excellent. I really appreciate those that have shared, and I'm sure there are tons of other stories. And when we go into our breakout rooms next, if there's an opportunity to share them, please do. I've popped into the chat what I heard from all of you, and I'm sure many of you would share similar stories. I hope what you're taking away here is that generally what changes for folks is that and why you stay is because you feel a part of something. You're connected. You're doing something. You're having an impact, and in general, that contributes to a healthy club, right? Just by nodding or showing hands. Sorry, you guys are all over here, by the way. Just by nodding or show of hands. How many of you believe that your other members are looking for a similar experience in your club? Yeah, probably not just you. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about how we can make sure that's happening. I want to introduce you to a model. This model is basically a life cycle model. For those of you who are familiar with sales, you might see this, recognize this sort of life cycle here. This model was developed actually for social organizations like ourselves. And a member in my district called Jack Tacoma modified it for Rotary. The model is based on four factors that we believe contribute to clubs being vibrant and having vitality. So the first element is vision, and I'm going to talk about these a little bit more. The second is relationships, all right? The third is projects, and the last is management. So there's a belief that when these operate effectively together, this is what represents a healthy club. So let's dive in a little bit more, okay? I'm going to tell you a bit of a story, and I'm going to look for your help to tell this story. And then we're going to maybe cut the story short a bit and transition off. So, anybody tell me how Rotary started? How did Rotary get started? Any takers? Just shout her out.
In Chicago as a business networking group.
Ah, yeah. So close, close. Anyone want to refine Dale's answer there?
How about a couple of business guys who were lonesome? They missed home.
They missed home. That is exactly it. So Dale, you were really close, but here's what happened. Mr. Harris, Paul Harris, came from the country to Chicago, big city, a small town guy, and said, "Man, oh man, I am lonely. All right, there has got to be something I can do here, and if I'm lonely." Chances are that there are other people in a similar space to me and position to me that are also lonely. And so his vision at this stage of the game was not Rotary as we know it today, but it was a group of people coming together to be friends, right? I've given away the second characteristic. What do you think happened as this group of people came together? What do you think evolved?
Friendships.
Friendships, otherwise known as relationships, right? So the vision was, hey, we want to get together, right? We want to get together. I don't know if getting together for a beer was a thing back then, but we're going to get together for a beer, right? We're going to make sure that we're there for each other. We started to get to know one another, and we started to realize we really enjoyed each other's company. What do you think happened next?
Starts with P.
They worked on a project.
Ta-da! What project was that, Rhonda? Do you know what they did?
No.
Anybody know what they did, Bob? Shh.
Wasn't it a
Toilets.
a toilet in downtown Chicago?
Correct, Sam. It was toilets. Public comfort stations, I think is what they called them in downtown Chicago, because people were peeing on the wall and they decided that that was not the city they wanted to live in. And so they established these public comfort stations with the resources that they had. And so here's where I'm going to start to shift away from the story. This concept really grew in the concept of both public comfort stations or public toilets, but also the idea of people coming together and serving. And over time, this organization as we know it today was born. And that organization, so that it stayed functional and so that it remained consistent and well governed, started to develop something called management. All right. So here's where I'm going to pause and just explain this a little bit more. The health of your club evolves over time, and the belief is that you are at your peak when your vision, your relationships, your projects, and your management are all humming along. Okay. Now, for a club that's in decline, and I'm I'm happy to say that this is, not the story of Rotary. We are still very vibrant in different areas of the world, more so than others, but we are still a very vibrant organization. What would you say starts to shift when a club is in decline? What disappears first? Any takers?
I think the leaders of the club.
Leaders of the club disappear?
Leadership, yeah.
All right. What else? What else happens?
Members.
Members, yeah.
Vision.
Oh, I think I heard what I was hoping for.
Vision.
Vision. Yeah. Yeah. And actually the answer around leadership was probably not far off either, because that vision is often held represented by leadership. Now, that's not necessarily the right thing, but often they do represent where the club is heading. You're absolutely right, folks. When a club starts to decline and starts to falter, their vision starts to fade, right? We don't know where we're going anymore. We're still hanging out with a bunch of people we really enjoy. We're still doing our Rib Fest every year. We're running the duck race, right? We've still got our bylaws. The board is meeting regularly, but sure as heck, I can tell you what we're doing or why we're doing it. What do you think disappears next?
Membership.
Yeah. And what specifically, Sam?
Why? Did you say what?
What? Yeah.
I think the members don't feel engaged. And if the engagement's not there, then why am I here?
Spot on. Your relationships start to fade, right? Like there is no why should I bother? Remember how we talked about, part of why people belong to Rotary is because they actually value coming together and being a part of something and doing it together with people of like mind. And when your relationships start to disappear and you've lost reason for being there, right? It starts to become a place that you really don't need to be. Why not be at your hockey game or your kids' hockey game or reading a book or doing anything other than coming to a meeting and being a part of Rotary? So you're absolutely right. Relationships start to deteriorate. What happens next? What goes next? You've got no vision. No one's really either showing up or cares about one another.
I'm guessing the projects diminish.
Spot on, Mike. Good guess. You saw the trend. Yeah, and projects definitely go next. And what's interesting here is projects don't necessarily disappear. They can start to get really dull, right? Who has the box that you open and you do the duck race, and then you do the duck race on, May 15th, and then you close the box and it's like done and dusted, done like you've always done it, and you can walk away and you're going to do it next year, right? That's sometimes what projects can look like when they get unhealthy or when a club gets unhealthy. It's not that they stop altogether. They just don't really have any joie de vivre. What goes next? Or actually, rather, what's left? What's left?
Management.
Yeah. And what's management doing?
Not much.
Not much. Not much, because there isn't much to manage. I'll tell you what they are managing. They're telling you whether you're going to have chicken or salmon at dinner. And that's about all the decisions they're making at that point. It's probably chicken because salmon's too expensive as well. So I appreciate that I've painted a fairly dire picture of what happens to a club over time if they're not paying attention to their health. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do, what I'm going to ask you to do next. I'm going to ask you to answer this question. All right. You do not have to share with me or your breakout rooms necessarily where you feel you are on the continuum, right? You could be on the up, you could be on the down, you could be at the peak. You don't need to share where you are. I do need you to think about where you are. What's more important and what I want you to talk about is what are the signals that are telling you where you are, right? How did you determine that that's where you are? What came to mind? All right. So in order to do this, right, we're going to go into the same breakout rooms we were in before. All right, I'm going to ask you to take a minute or two to think about your answer to where are we? And please be honest with yourself, okay? You can't fix or help anything that you're not honest with yourself about. And these can be positive things or negative things that I want you to discuss as to what signals are you seeing, all right? What I'd like you to land on is some of the top signals that you see or end up discussing. Okay, same deal. Please nominate a scribe, and then we'll share back. Bob, is there a way of giving folks 10 minutes for this breakout session as well?
I've got it set for 10. Yep, just like the last one. We were short because we were assigning people, but 10
All
minutes
right.
is ready to go, and you're in the same rooms as last time.
Beautiful. All right, off you go. Thanks, folks. I'll pop in periodically.
So, Sandhya, where is Rachel from Markham Sunrise supposed to be?
Good question. 1 second. Uh, that's a really good question. Room 6. So you can pop her into room 5.
6?
Uh,
Put her in room 5,
She has
please.
just said that she's sharing audio with Tina and that she won't be able to
Okay.
participate in the breakout.
Yeah, so
Okay, well,
I've got my phone on so she can hear. So
so
if
just
I
a minute, I'll move her to 5.
Mhm.
Okay. And
That's
then
fine. Do whatever you
Sean
can.
is on the call now. Where are we? Maybe he's already in the room. Is he?
Sean is in room 3.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So I
Yeah, he
think
had to
we've got
go.
everybody.
the chart has Rachel in room 6.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, I moved her.
Oh, you
Yeah,
moved her.
because
Okay,
room
so I'll
6
join
didn't have
5 then.
anyone in it. So,
Rachel and Tina are in room 5. Tina, did you get a note to join? Yes, okay.
yeah, you're good.
I think we're good. Okay, same group of same rooms.
Perfect. Everyone is good.
You can stop recording, Bob.
Okay, stop recording. Yeah, we lost the first lady to join our club last week. First lady Rotarian in Port Hope.
Mute off. We're back. And can I just tell you, I was able to pop into a lot of the rooms and hear a lot of the conversation. And what I normally share at the end is that this session is as much learning for me as for others, but I'm going to share it now because I heard some really interesting observations in the various rooms. So I want to take a moment to go around and talk about where not necessarily, again, you don't have to highlight where you are, but what are some of the things that you were noticing as observations, right? That told you, hey, I think this is what's happening, right? This is where we find ourselves on this curve. I'm going to ask room 8 to go first. Room 8.
So that would be me. So we had 5 different Rotary clubs in our breakout session. And of the 5 clubs, 4 clubs felt that they were really coming up the side, like we were moving up the continuum. And one participant was feeling that maybe they're just starting to tip over and come down that pictorial. The signals that we saw for those of us that were feeling it up, like they were going up, were strong attendance, really great energy, increasing membership. Like one club is really growing its membership in a very significant way. Members who are seeking additional projects, opportunities to make an even bigger impact. So these were seen as signs that we're going up. The one comment in terms of maybe coming down the other side was the opposite of that. So instead of growing membership is starting to subside, to shrink. So those were some of the signals that we collectively shared.
Yep, perfect. I love it. All right, room 10. What were some of the signs in your club that, or in your group rather, that you talked about?
Yeah, it's me. So I think generally speaking, the clubs felt that they were okay. We had one club that felt that they were starting to stagnate a little bit.
Mm.
I think some of the things one of the big subjects was pre-COVID and post-COVID, and how that has affected membership attendance, engagement. A couple good ideas, and I think this is coming up the continuum, is trying new projects and dropping other ones that have been around forever.
Mhm.
And even if it fails, go ahead and give it a try. I mean, we tried one and it was a lot of fun, but we we didn't make a whole lot of money at it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, Murray, can you tell me some of the signals that you saw, or did you talk about any signals you saw when clubs were on the decline?
I think a couple of the signals is when you have some more established members, just trying to convince them that it's okay to change things. And I mean, we certainly run into that in our club is we've got a lot of senior members, and trying to move away from some of the traditions can be a real challenge.
Yeah, got it.
Mm.
Good stuff. All right, and I want to flip to group 3, please. Group 3, what were some of the signs you talked about? What were some of the signals?
For us, our group had its smaller clubs. So we tend to go back to the membership of the club. Things like maintaining the closeness of the relationship, keeping the spirits up of the members, attendance, getting them to, they have the desire to do the projects. They want to improve, they want to keep the spirits of the members up, but some of them, like, one club had 2 members that were sick and they didn't know if they're going to continue. Other ones are maintaining, are retaining members or getting young members to join, things like that.
Got
I
it.
think for us, it's really more about maintaining the relationships and bringing the members and retaining the members that we have. Because being a small club as it is, it's hard for us to, when things come up, then to get those numbers back up.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate you sharing. And I know that that was probably a moment of vulnerability in and amongst your peers, talking very honestly about where you might find yourselves. And I appreciate that you did that. I want to do another little exercise with you. We're going to talk a little bit about vision. And actually, I'm going to send that through in the chat first. Before we go there, can I just ask you to take a moment, look at the brief list that I just typed up? What does it remind you of on the building side? What are some of those things reminiscent of? Anybody remember the very first question I asked you to put in the chat? What does a vibrant club look like? Those things look a little familiar? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk a little bit more about vision specifically. So, as soon as I can get my slides to move, what I'd like you to do is just push answers through as quickly as you can in the chat. What does a club with vision look like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What's true about a club with vision? Strength, work as a team, unified. I'm not sure. All right, Tess. Well, hopefully we'll help. Dynamic, for sure. What
It
else?
looks
Busy,
like with the sunrise.
Fun, engaged, work as a team, exciting, has direction, high level of activity, purpose driven. Ooh, purpose driven. Goals are set, tracked, and communicated. Spot on. All right. Okay, shift gears, folks. Tell me what a club without vision looks like. Mm-hmm. Brian, I love it. Lost, no goals, stuck, combative, stagnate, chaos, quiet, discombobulated. Ooh, someone can spell. Lack of failed projects. Declining membership. Spot on, folks. So let's talk about this a little bit more. You got all of them, right? A club with vision is passionate. It's got direction. We know where we're going. We've got goals. We're measuring them. We're tracking them. We've got great leadership. We've got core values, shared beliefs in what we stand for, a sense of why we're here, motivated, right? It matters. You know why you belong to this club. One of the great conversations I heard in one of the rooms was, hey, are we talking about Rotary's vision or our club's vision? What do your members belong to? Do they belong to Rotary or do they belong to your club? They belong to your club. And each one of your clubs is unique, right? You do amazing work in your communities, all in different ways. So when we talk about vision, we're talking about your club's vision. And similarly, when you don't have vision, members perish, no direction, no stress. And some people go, but Sandhya, it's wonderful. If there's no stress and we're like in our comfort zone, isn't that a good thing? Haven't we got it all figured out? Anybody want to tell me why that's on the no vision list? Any takers?
You're not
Mike?
growing. You're not growing if you're not stressed.
Correct. Yeah. Remember how we talked about a club with vision? Actually, a healthy club, I think, new projects, trying new things, experimenting. Does everyone remember their first buzz from doing something new, right, in your clubs? There's something about that. If you're not doing new, if you're not trying things out, if you're not challenging yourself, that stress and that comfort, being in that comfort zone, not a good thing, right?
Well,
Similarly,
last week when we were talking about conflict,
hmm
no one ever brought up the fact that conflict doesn't have to be negative.
it does not. There is something called healthy conflict.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I felt that was missing from last week, but I see that it fits in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Things are smooth and predictable. That's a good thing, right?
No, not
Why not,
necessarily.
Sam?
Um, Smooth and predictable means status quo to me. I think sometimes you got to shake up the dice and roll them,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
I think you and a lot of other people might think that way. Smooth and predictable. Read that as boring. Okay. If it's boring, I can go somewhere else for some more excitement. All right. All right. Clubs without a vision, without any sense of direction, go into, unfortunately, what we call a bit of a death spiral. Okay. Um, Before all of you freak out and go, oh my God, like she's being so negative. Let me build up. There is ways out. For those of you who said, hey, listen, you know what? I think we've lost vision of it. We still like coming together. We still got great projects and they work really well. Our management is really functional, but we've lost a bit of a sense of direction here. That's okay. You can recover. It's a short climb to the top of the hill again. All right. For those of you who might have said, hey, you know what? Ugh, we've lost our vision, not quite sure where we're going, and no one really cares enough to come together and figure it out, right? Don't really know that we have really great relationships in our club. It's going to be a bit tougher, right? Because you got to have people who care to help climb that hill together again. Um, if you feel like you've lost your vision, you don't know where you're going, no one really cares about the club or one another, and you have no projects or projects are stagnated, and what you've got is a board who's deciding whether you're having chicken or salmon for dinner. What I would offer you is you're in a tough spot, okay? And you may not find the energy within your club to rebuild from that point. And I would just offer, if you find yourself there, have a conversation with your district leadership. There might be a better energy. Energy might be better spent trying to rebuild, or rather trying to rebuild, starting again. Okay. All right. Okay, here's what we're going to do. All of you should have received by email a a questionnaire. Did everyone receive a questionnaire?
Yep.
Okay. What am I'm going to ask you to fill out that questionnaire. Okay. Again, be honest with yourself. Fill out that questionnaire, please, rating yourselves on that scale for where you find yourself against all of those elements. And then we're going to come back and talk about it some. All right. We're not going to go out into breakout rooms. This is not that I'd like you to do on your own. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do it right here. All right. Do folks need a little bit more time to answer those 12 questions? Shake your head, nod your head. We're good? We finished the survey? Okay. All right. So here's how this works. And unfortunately, this is where being in person really helps. In addition to that survey, you would have received another document. Give me a minute just to share my screen again. So this is the survey you would have filled out. Can everyone see that? It's just coming up.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that's the survey that you would have filled out, right? On a scale of strongly disagree to strongly agree against each question, right? And then you would have also received another attachment, which looks like this, okay? And on the very last page of that, that's where I want you to focus, and it'll look like this, okay?
I did not get this.
Okay.
I got the questionnaire, but I did not get this attachment.
All right.
I'm in the email right now looking. And...
Okay. All right.
They came together from Joseph.
I'm in the.
He was from.
We'll fix it.
From Liz, I think.
Yeah, I'm in the email right now, and I absolutely have the questionnaire, but not and the questions that you asked in advance.
There you go. All right. Everyone should have it via the chat. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is follow along with this back page, the very last page, the fourth page of that document. The questions are synced to this document. So remember how I said you'd walk away with a plan, right? This is how we're going to get there. There are a ton of Rotary resources from your district and from Rotary International and in and amongst your peer groups on how you can improve the vibrancy of your club. So let's look at that survey. Let's say you said our club has a vision that is current and we have written long-term goals. And you said, I disagree. I'm not sure that that's really the case. That's fine. You go over here and that's the first box, right? And it says, hey, decide what you'd like your club to be like in 3 to 5 years. Plan an annual visioning session and use the Rotary Club Health Check to identify your club's strength and areas that need improvement. Use the planning guide to set long-term goals. Anywhere where you see bolded text, these are resources you can find on the Rotary.org site. Okay, you do not have to do this from scratch. There are also resources in your district that can help you with this, that can help you with strategic planning, that can help you with visioning. Okay, ask your AG, ask your DG, ask your DGE for support in any of these spaces. Right. So again, if that was an area of concern, that's what'll get you on the right path. Okay. Similarly, if on number 2, you said, we set annual goals that support our long-range goals, and you said, you know what? I'm neutral on this. I don't disagree, but I don't agree either. Let's say that this is an area that you want to focus on. Okay. Guess what? It says, decide on your annual goals and get them into Club Central. What gets measured matters, or what matters gets measured. Focus on something your club is good at and make it something that your club is great at. Update committees once a month on your goal progress. Okay. These are ways you can solve some of these challenges that you're having. I would also offer that if your club is really good at something, so let's say you said, I'm going to jump to another question here. There's effective communication within our club and with other levels of Rotary, and you said we got that nailed. Don't focus on that one. Make sure you don't undo what you've got, but you don't need to double down on an area that you're already strong on. All right. But just to show you, if you did answer number 4 as something that you disagree with, okay, the way this chart works is 1, 2, 3, oh, and 4. All right. In the copy that you have, these are also live links. I believe most of them go to the right place. If something has changed, you can always just search for it and it will find that the member satisfaction survey or how you might vary your meeting format or whatever else it might be. Okay. This is your guide. This helps you. With that in mind, here's what I'm going to ask you to do next. All right. You now know a lot more information about your club. So I'm going to ask you to commit to 3 initiatives that you are going to implement in your club during your year as president. These don't need to be guesses anymore. You know where your club is strong. You know where it could be more vibrant. And you also have a path forward. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment, think about the 3 initiatives that you are going to implement in your year as club president to help strengthen your club and leave it just a bit stronger than when you found it. Pen to paper, folks. This is like your love letter to yourself. Okay. Write these down. Because when you start your year, when you come back in the middle and you reflect how it's going, and when you finish, these are the commitments you're making to yourself. I can appreciate that some of you might want to think about these some more, and that's fine. All I invite you to do is put them to paper at some point in your journey and during your training, okay? We have found that the clubs and the presidents that are most successful have a written down action plan. Some of you have also asked whether it makes sense to talk about this with your board. It absolutely does. All right, your board and your club need to be on board. Right? If they're not, you will have a challenging year to say the least. Okay. All right. Let's make sure I got everything across that I wanted to get across. Let's talk about this. This is supposed to be a bit of a dynamic, comes up as we talk about it. Where do we start, folks? What's the heart of a vibrant club? I've given away the answer. Any takers? Chris, what do you say?
Vision, and people.
Membership.
Vision. Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I remind you of something that you said earlier on? When I asked what had made a difference and why you remain members of Rotary, for those of you who I asked, one of the responses that you said was, I can't remember who it was, but you put it so eloquently to say, I learned about the impact that we make. I learned what we do, right? That knowledge, and this is what this is supposed to represent, but that knowledge and helping people to translate that vision into increased knowledge about what we can accomplish together is what's going to lead you to a vibrant club. All right. With that, I give you my best wishes and I give you my contact information. Nothing gives me greater joy than speaking to a president who is very passionate about improving the health and well-being of their club. So please feel free to reach out. Email is better than phone. I did promise to reply, but maybe just not in 24 hours. But I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear about your success stories as well. I'd love to hear about the commitments that you just made to yourself and how you saw them through. and the difference that it made to your club. Okay. I am ending right on time. I will open the floor for any questions or parting thoughts. Thank you very much. I learned a tremendous amount this evening, as I always do through these sessions, and I really appreciate all of you being open and sharing your thoughts with me.
Thank you, Sandhya.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the session.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Good night.
And I think our wonderful DG was going to thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sandhya, on behalf of all the president-elects in this district, thank you so much for your session on building a vibrant club. As our president-elects prepare to step into their leadership roles, your message and open conversation was exactly what we all needed. A reminder that vibrant clubs are built with intention, positivity, and a willingness to try new things. We truly appreciate you sharing your time and experience with us, and our district will be making a $200 donation to the Rotary Foundation in your name. Thank you for helping set the tone for an exciting year ahead.
Thank you very much. That means a great deal to me. Good luck, folks. You're going to have a fabulous year. Your year as president will leave your hearts full. Maybe your tank a little empty, but your heart's very full.
Thank you so much.